conflict has spread rapidly across the Middle East following the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, during coordinated U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Saturday. The escalation has triggered missile and drone attacks across the Gulf, drawn in regional militias, disrupted global energy markets, and raised fears of a prolonged war. What happened in Iran? The United States and Israel launched widespread strikes targeting Iran's missile infrastructure, military facilities, and senior leadership. Khamenei, who had led Iran since 1989, was killed when his Tehran compound was flattened in the first wave of attacks. According to the Israel Defense Forces (IDF), several senior figures were also killed, including Defense Council Secretary Ali Shamkhani, Defense Minister Brig Gen Aziz Naserzadeh, and IRGC Commander Gen Mohammad Pakpor. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has since appointed Ahmad Vahidi as its new commander-in-chief. Iranian authorities say at least 555 people have been killed across 130 locations. More than 150 people, including children, reportedly died in a strike on a school near an IRGC base in southern Iran. Internet access across the country has been almost entirely restricted and Iranian airspace closed. Despite the scale of the assault, Iran's military retains the capacity to launch retaliatory strikes. On Sunday and Monday, U.S. and Israeli forces carried out additional attacks on Tehran and other cities. U.S. President Donald Trump said Iran's naval headquarters had been destroyed. The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, later confirmed that 11 Iranian ships had been sunk in the Gulf of Oman. Why did the U.S. and Israel attack? President Trump said the operation, named Operation Epic Fury, aims to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. "We're going to destroy their missiles and raze their missile industry to the ground," Trump said in a video statement. He also warned Iran's armed forces to surrender in exchange for complete immunity or face certain death. Trump went further, urging Iranians to overthrow their government once military operations conclude. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described Iran as an existential threat and rejected claims that Israel had pressured Washington into war. Iran has long insisted its nuclear program is peaceful and has described the strikes as unprovoked, illegal, and illegitimate. How has Iran responded? Iran has responded with ballistic missiles and drones targeting Israel and U.S. link sites across the region. Countries hit include Israel, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. Strikes have also targeted ships near the Strait of Hormuz and a British base in Cyprus. 9 people were killed when a residential area in Beit Shemesh, Israel, was struck. A drone hit the British RAF Akrotiri base in Cyprus, though no casualties were reported. Several Gulf states that host U.S. military bases have come under fire. Explosions were reported in Dubai, Doha, and Manama. Iran says it launched cruise missiles at a U.S. airbase in Kuwait and vessels in the Indian Ocean. The U.S. confirmed that 6 American servicemen have been killed and 18 seriously wounded since the start of Operation Epic Fury. 3 U.S. jets were shot down over Kuwait in what appears to have been a friendly fire incident. The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh was struck by 2 drones, causing limited damage. Washington has urged American citizens to leave multiple countries in the region immediately. Hezbollah opens a new front. A new front opened when Lebanon's Iran-backed Shia militia, Hezbollah, launched rockets into Israel, saying it sought to avenge Khamenei's death. Israel responded with strikes in Beirut and southern Lebanon. Lebanese officials report dozens killed or injured, while Israel has ordered evacuations in dozens of villages near the border. Economic shockwaves. The war has shaken global markets, particularly energy supplies. Qatar temporarily halted liquefied natural gas production following Iranian attacks, pushing gas prices up by 50%. Iranian drones struck Saudi Arabia's Ras Tanura refinery, forcing a partial shutdown. Iran also warned ships against passing through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for roughly 20% of global oil and gas shipments. Brent crude briefly surged to $82 a barrel as at least 3 ships were attacked near the strait. Global stock markets have fallen amid fears of prolonged instability. Who leads Iran now? Iran has formed a transitional leadership council consisting of President Masoud Pezeshkian, Judiciary Chief Gholam Hossein Mohseni Ejei, and senior cleric Ali Reza Arafai. Under Iran's constitution, the new supreme leader must be chosen by the 88-member Assembly of Experts. However, selecting a successor amid ongoing attacks may prove difficult. How long could the war last? President Trump has said military operations could continue for 4 to 5 weeks, but added the U.S. has the capacity to sustain them far longer if necessary. Netanyahu similarly stated the campaign would continue as long as needed. Air travel across the region has been severely disrupted. Major airlines including Emirates, British Airways, and Lufthansa have cancelled or rerouted flights. Airspace closures in countries such as Qatar, Iraq, and Jordan have created one of the most significant aviation disruptions since the COVID-19 pandemic. An uncertain future. With multiple countries drawn into the conflict, energy markets shaken, and civilian casualties rising, the U.S.-Israel war with Iran risks becoming a prolonged regional confrontation. The coming weeks will determine whether diplomatic channels can reopen, or whether the Middle East is entering a new and dangerous chapter of sustained warfare.